Hello and welcome to Tech Circle. You're listening to the Capital Call series. Today I'm joined by Vinay Bansal, who's the founder and CEO of Inflection Point Ventures. IPV is an investment initiative which was floated by a group of CFOs and finance professionals working for Indian startups. 9 such executives from startups including Myntra, Book My Show and Grofers are part of this program, which was founded 3 years ago. Since March 2020, IPV has made a total of 10 investments including Milkbasket, Wellcure, Edvizo, Samosa Party, Phable, etc. In today's episode, we'll discuss about the latest deal run, funding sentiment and strategies going ahead. Thank you for joining us, Vinay. So, what has been the general funding sentiment during the pandemic, and how exactly do you think IPV has conformed or diverted from the market momentum?
Sure, Shweta. I think first of all, I would say that, the first 60 to 90 days, market was just trying to understand what happened, right? Because it came just as a sudden out of nowhere. And most of the investors actually panicked. And they said they don't want to fund because they don't know where the startups are going to be, how the market is going to be, etc. But IPV, we took a very divergent stand. And we said, if we can't help great founders now, then we are not staying true to our philosophy. And that's where, we got aggressive and we started funding some great businesses at that point in time. And as we led this thought process over the 60 to 90 days of the pandemic, I would say many other investors came back, as we said, we are going to be aggressive. I think now we are seeing a lot of other angel investors and angel networks coming back to invest as well. So that's how we have kind of led the thought process and the market as well.
Okay. And also, whenever we saw recent deal run and upwards of, say, 10 investments that you guys announced in last 3 months. Yeah. So what has been the strategy there, and where exactly are you thinking the follow-on funding will be coming from?
Sure. I think we haven't had a change in strategy, to be honest, right? I mean, our strategy has always been fund great businesses run by great founders and available at fair valuations. Now what happened is, as various investors stepped back from funding, a lot of the startups were looking for great investors and they started coming to us. And because we were able to fund, we were able to, also get it at a fair valuation. And citing this opportunity, we just played very nimble and yet very aggressive to capture this market. And therefore, we ended up funding the number of deals we ended up funding. I think for the future, I think we are very, very, I would say, optimistic. We do have the visibility to be able to fund a similar, I would say, $1 million to $2 million every month, or 4 to 5 deals every month. And we do see a visibility right through end of the year, actually. So we don't see this pace actually slowing down anytime soon for us.
And this you're talking about across the segments?
Yes, we are very much sector agnostic, Shweta, and therefore, as long as it's a great business run by great founders, we are up for it.
Also, Vinay, if you would want to talk about the Milkbasket deal, how did that come up to IPV?
Sure. I think Milkbasket, I have been a customer myself, and I have been an early investor in Milkbasket in 2015 as well. And that again, it was invested when the investor sentiment was going down. And then we came in, we helped the business to continue to grow. And then when they were looking to raise their Series B, and they said, "Vinay, would you like to lead it?" I said, "Absolutely not. Why not? I mean, it's a great business run by great founders. And we as customers love the business." So we put together a very good hypothesis and a thesis for the business. We asked the business to turn profitable, and we brought in our expertise to help the business, think through in a very different manner. So that's what happened in actually January, long before pandemic hit. And since we were already on the path to fix the supply chain, to build the business in a profitable manner, the pandemic only accelerated the growth for us. So that's how Milkbasket happened. And, we ended up leading the whole round with $2 million out of the 5.5 that the company raised.
Okay. Okay. And Vinay, how exactly would you say your model is different from other early or say mid-stage VC funds?
So I think it's different on a lot of counts, Shweta. I mean, let me put it in multiple perspectives. Let's take the perspective of a founder. With us, the founder does not need to dedicate one of the founding members for funding. We only need about 4 to 5 hours from a founder to be able to fund them. We don't make the founder run pillar to post for multiple investors to meet. They have to meet only us as 1 or 2 people, and therefore we act like a VC fund there. Third, we bring in a very deep expertise across sectors to help the founder grow in the future. And therefore, we provide a lot of mentorship, a lot of guidance, and a lot of even business opportunities for the founders. Now, if you look at it from the investor perspective, we do not charge carry from the investors, which many other funds and many other networks will charge. Our membership fee is lowest in the country, right? Which means we are enabling a lot of democratization of investing from the investor side. The third piece, which I think is the biggest one, is we do a very deep business due diligence on the business. No other angel network does a very deep due diligence on the business in the country. Many will do a legal and a financial due diligence, which we will also do. But for us, a deep business understanding is very important. And that's where we say we fund great businesses, right? And if we don't do a business DD, we will not know it's a great business. So that's, I think, a very clear differentiation from an investor standpoint as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, Vinay, how has the exit runway for existing portfolio companies been? And would you say that it was affected by COVID?
Yes, I would say, when you say affected, it means both positively and negatively, right? There were a few businesses that got positively impacted significantly, right? We have a safety app drawer, a geolocation intelligence business, GeoIQ, our Milkbasket as a business. All of these businesses are edtech businesses like, Pedagogy or Uable or a remote working business like a Vishap. All of these got a significant leg up from the situation. And then there were others which are facing a little bit of a challenge. But I think the differentiation that IPV brings in it is we bring in a lot of business expertise to be able to help the businesses even in this time. So much so that not only has a single business shut down so far in IPV's history, but even during this time, we have not allowed any business to get out of business. We have brought in the expertise, the help, the pivoting that's required, or even the emotional support that's required by the founder to wait through these times. Situations always impact. They are bound to. It is up to us. How do we get the best out of the adversity that we face?
Okay, and what about day-to-day operations, like engaging with portfolio and keeping track of MIS, troubleshooting, etc.? Are they all in line, and how's that happening?
Absolutely, all of that is line. In fact, IP was built to be working remotely. As a structure, and our systems, designs, people, offices, all of them were designed to work that way. And that's why we could be even more aggressive than we were built to be, right, during this time. So our day-to-day operations are absolutely smooth. Whether it is doing the due diligence, whether it is trying to, evaluate the founding team or the business, whether it is the quarterly MIS that comes from the founders, whether it is the quarterly call with the investors that we do on a regular basis. So we do almost 10 quarterly calls a month with our investors and our startups, right? All of those happen through online mediums and are very, very effective because investors don't need to travel, founders don't need to travel, we don't need to travel, and while we still solve for the toughest issues that the businesses are facing.
Any particular segments that you're really bullish on, although you mentioned that you're a sector agnostic fund, but any particular sectors that you think have silver lining in this during the pandemic and are going to really excel?
No, of course, because every changing situation brings a new opportunity set, right? So what we see is edtech as an area, because all of our kids are now going to study from home, right? And therefore they need a way to be able to study, which was earlier a physical presence-based education. For example, we did Uable, which we announced last week. We have done pedagogy, we've done Edvizo, and we are looking at a couple more. So those will certainly become hot sectors. Not that we were not looking at it, we were looking at it 6 months plus, but we'll continue to look at that. Similarly, online health or health tech, doctors can't see the patients physically now. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of gyms which are not functional as much. So therefore, health tech and edtech both become very, very critical shift from the existing physical-based infrastructure to an online-based infrastructure. Similarly, grocery businesses, we are funding 2 businesses. One is Milkbasket that we announced. We are funding another $1 million this week. We'll announce it next week. That is going. These businesses are gonna have a leg up. But having said that, while we'll continue to fund great businesses, doesn't mean that we are not going to look at other founders and other great businesses as well. There are many out there that are really worthy of being invested. We invested in OTT business in Talk 2 months back, which has picked up. E-gaming is another great business to continue. There are multiple sectors will continue to back that way.
With this, it's a wrap on this episode. Valuable insights there, Vinay. Thanks again for taking the time out, and many thanks to our listeners.